Hello and welcome to Swakely's Maths Department. The purpose of this video is to take you through the key features of A-level further maths at Swakely School. There is another video available for standard further maths and you'll find that on our website too. So as you can see, we follow the edXL exam board and we offer both A-level further maths and AS further maths. The AS is studied in year 12 and an exam is taken at the end of the year, so that does give you the opportunity to just study the AS if you would prefer. In order to take the further maths of any type, you must of course take the standard maths as well. As you can see, we have some entry requirements to take further maths. The first one being a grade 8 or higher in GCSE maths. That is higher than in order to take the standard maths. The essential algebra test is the same one as discussed for standard A-level maths, so there's not a separate one for further maths, but of course you must pass that in order to get on both courses. So it is quite unusual for a subject to have two A-levels in that particular subject area. So what is the purpose of further maths? As it suggests, it is further to the A-level maths that you've taken, so you can't take further without the A-level maths, and it is specifically to help students gain a deeper knowledge of areas in order to access particular university courses. So if you would like to read maths, physics, engineering, some economics courses, those sorts of things that are heavily maths based, then further maths can be really beneficial. There are certain universities where this is a desired course. For other universities, it's now a requirement. So before making your decision on taking further maths, I know you're deciding on your A-levels at the moment, but actually what you may want to study at university could dictate whether or not you take further maths. So I highly recommend, if you're looking to do things like maths, physics, engineering, economics, you look at the types of universities you might want to study at, and they will guide you as to whether further maths is a requirement or whether it is a desirable course. The disadvantage, of course, of taking further maths is that given that you take maths as well, that narrows your choices quite significantly. So if you're taking 3 courses only, then 2 of those would be maths. And similarly, even if you're taking 4 courses initially in year 12, that would be half of your course time spent on maths. So you want to be fairly certain that a highly mathematical pathway is something that you're going to take to embark on your further maths. As with the standard maths course, there are 3 essential areas that you will study in your further maths. There is the pure mathematics, otherwise known as the core, and there is also a statistics element as well as the mechanics, and I'll take you through the details of that now. So as you can see, here are the key elements of the pure mathematics. This is running through for the 2-year further maths course, something called complex numbers, which you may or may not be familiar with, is looking at a branch of mathematics, what happens when we square root a negative number. You are fully used to plotting coordinates and what we call Cartesian coordinates, where we're looking at a horizontal and a vertical distance, but there's something called polar coordinates where you can define a place in space by how far away it is from the origin and what angle that is at. You can see that sequences and series is in the normal maths course, and we take that into a more in-depth analysis of that into our further maths. Volumes of revolution is a use of the integration that you will do in your normal maths course. It allows you to find the volume of lots of different shapes. Differential equations is a topic that is really useful thinking onto your potential further studies at university. They are used to model all sorts of different situations and problem solving, so you'll get used to the basics of solving some differential equations. We've mentioned vectors in the normal mathematics that you've done. We'll investigate these a little bit further, looking at what happens when we multiply vectors in a particular way and the geometric problems that we can solve using that. And then there's another type of function that you may or may not have heard of, something called our hyperbolic functions. We'll have a look at those in year 13 for the pure mathematics. All All of the pure topics are what we call part of the core syllabus of further maths, i.e. all students across the country studying further maths do those particular topics. There are then some options as to what is taken in further maths, so unlike normal maths where everybody studies the same topics, here we do have some options, and we've selected to do a little bit more statistics and a little bit more mechanics. We feel that because those topics are studied as part of the normal maths, it's nice to take those stories a little bit further. So as you can see, for the statistics, we look at some of the types of distribution. So in normal maths, you do the binomial and normal, and you can see here we've got the Poisson, geometric and negative binomial distributions. I mentioned hypothesis testing in a previous video. We do have a look at that as well, and looking at how good those hypothesis tests are, so what types of error can occur when we do those hypothesis tests. And then chi-squared tests, something that is really useful for analysing how good a modelling situation is, levels of accuracy with that. So the second option that we go for in further maths is looking at the further mechanics, and you can see some of the topics that are involved in that. Momentum, that's something that I'm sure you're familiar with from your GCSE physics. Looking at work, energy and power, similarly those are some of those concepts that you've seen in terms of kinetic energy and gravitational potential energy, taking those ideas a little bit further. We look at the behaviour of strings, springs, the elastic potential energy, and then we do quite a lot of work on collisions, initially in one dimension, and then we move on to two particles colliding and the movement around in 2 dimensions as well. So the final thing I'd like to talk to you about is why further maths at Swakeleys. So I think the most important thing to say here is that we do provide timetabled lessons. There is an expectation on students in many schools in the borough to almost self-study further maths, but we are committed to having timetabled lessons for further maths. The class sizes of those lessons tend to be very small, typically no more than 5 or 6 students, and so therefore the level of support that we can provide in those lessons are particularly high. The normal maths would still be taught with all the other students taking A-level maths, but you do have specific timetabled lessons there for your further maths in very small class sizes. We do have a team of maths teachers that can teach further maths, so we're not reliant on one member of staff teaching our further maths. There is a number of us with experience at teaching the further maths A-level content. And as I mentioned earlier in the video, another advantage of doing your further maths here at Swakeleys is that you have that opportunity to do AS exams at the end of year 12. Yes, that puts a little bit of pressure on you to have to perform an exams in year 12, but the advantage is you can cash in an AS in further maths in year 12, and so therefore if you decide that further maths is narrowing your curriculum too much, you can prove yourself to have studied at a higher level, but maybe focus on other things into year 13. It also is really good at enhancing your university applications to show that you've done well in further maths through into year 12, and proven success at a higher level is a really desirable thing when making university applications. And of course that pressure of exams at the end of year 12 does put you in a situation where you will have consolidated your year 12 work, which really helps you into year 13, because the year 12 work is the building blocks then of success into year 13. If you have any questions about the maths or further maths courses, you're very welcome to contact the maths department here at Swakeleys, and we will answer those queries. Thanks a lot for listening.